Hello, I'm Nia, and I just watched Five Things Tourists Don't Like About Iceland by All Things Iceland. And I just wanted to add my 2 cents since I went to Iceland for the first time a few weeks ago. So let's see if these five things stack up with my experience. And since you don't know me, I am a hippie turned corporate baddie, and I travel the world in my free time, learning about culture and language, and finding different ways to connect with people of different cultures and ethnicities. Also, just helping women live boldly and fully and focusing on play and finding joy. So, if that interests you at all, please subscribe and like the video. And now let's jump into these five things tourists don't like from the lovely Jules. So, number one was the sulfuric smell of the hot water. Now, as she mentioned in the video, this is more specific to Reykjavik, which is the capital city. It is about a mile from the airport, and it's about a mile from the Blue Lagoon, which is in Grindavik. So they're completely separate areas. I happened to stay at the retreat at Blue Lagoon, so I really didn't experience the sulfur smell as much. We did wind up getting evacuated on the last day because of a volcanic eruption, which I will talk about. And we wound up in Reykjavik where we went to Sky Lagoon. I did notice that sulfuric smell. It's not that pleasant, but it wasn't everywhere. It's you kind of just would get a whiff of it here or there in the hot springs or in the hotel room. Yeah, it's honestly, it didn't make a huge difference for me, but I can imagine that if I stayed in Reykjavik and was smelling that water more often, maybe it would have been an issue, but it didn't bother me. Actually, now that I think about it, I do remember getting a whiff of it at Blue Lagoon in the room though. If you stay at the retreat at Blue Lagoon, you have a private lagoon that you can swim in, just right outside in the back. And yeah, I did get a whiff of sulfur. I do remember that, but it was in passing, and yeah, it wasn't the whole time I was in there. Okay, number two, tourists don't like that Iceland is expensive. Is it expensive? Yes, absolutely. Is it worth it? Yes. So that's my answer right there. People are paid a livable wage. So that's part of why it's expensive, as Jules mentioned. They have a lot of imported goods, so they don't produce as much. They're on the island, so things are going to be a bit more pricey. Like if you go to somewhere like Barbados, it's the same kind of situation where a lot of things are imported. So that's just part of it. But they do make a lot of things there as well. If you go, I encourage you to try the local food and local goods. I got some things in a drugstore by some Nordic company, and I've never seen things like that in the States. And yeah, they have some really cool stuff that I wish I could easily get here. So definitely try it out while you're there, and you might be able to cut down on costs a bit. And as far as lodging, I do believe there are some affordable lodging options. I happen to stay at the most expensive hotel in Iceland, but there are many options that are more affordable and very nice. As I mentioned, we were evacuated on the last day from the retreat at Blue Lagoon, and we wound up at the Hilton Nordica, which is in Reykjavik. And so it's more of a, I don't know, what is it, a three-star hotel? Um, and yeah, it's not as pricey. It was it was it was pretty good. It was decent. So yeah, there are definitely options. So really, my point is you can go to Iceland without breaking the bank and still have a lovely time. Now, here's the number three thing that tourists don't like about Iceland. I think this should be number one: the unpredictable weather. And as Jules mentioned, that there are no land predators in Iceland, but nature is the predator. And that is incredibly true. I experienced that firsthand. Wow, I see why they call it the land of fire and ice. That is one intense place. Once you start to understand the geothermal activity, um, we were staying in, like I said, the Blue Lagoon, which sits on top of basically an active volcano. Yeah, do your research. I didn't realize that before going. um, and like I said, the volcano actually erupted while we were there. So, yeah, I mean that's geothermal activity. That's I guess not necessarily weather, but it's certainly the elements. But the weather was actually pretty nice. I went at the end of March, beginning of April, and it was very mild. It got windy at night, but the main issue that I had with the weather was that it rained. So it rained at night, and because of that, we didn't get to see the northern lights at all. And that was one of the main reasons I wanted to go. And we checked the Aurora app every night, and it said that it was all green over Iceland. If we had the visibility because of the cloud cover from the rain, we would have been able to see it very clearly. But so many factors have to align to see the northern lights. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see it. So that is definitely one of the downsides. And it's not something you can really plan for because typically you're going to be booking your flight in advance and booking your hotel, so you aren't going to know what the weather is going to be like. Even like the day before, I was checking the weather, and it changed from day to day. It was all over the place, but in general, like, it wasn't really raining during the day. It didn't impede on our activities. In fact, we had perfect weather when we went to the glacier, one of the second largest glacier in Iceland, to go snowmobiling. I do have a video about that on my channel if you want to check it out. But yeah, we got some great weather. I think probably because of the time of year, I would highly recommend going in March or early April. Um, and I hope you see the northern lights like I did not. But despite that, I still don't regret it. It was also very windy at night. So we weren't really out at night like that, but one of our or cushions from the deck chair blew into the mini lagoon. So that was one of the casualties of the weather. And actually, before we move on, since we're speaking of casualties, no one was hurt from the volcano. So I just want to make that very clear. It was a little one, little baby volcano. Number four, uh, tourists don't like that Iceland is crowded. I would say yes and no. It really depends where you are. So in the Blue Lagoon, like I said, you do have a private lagoon if you stay there, and you have access. Well, you have one in your room, and then there's another private lagoon just for the hotel residents. And then you also have access to the public lagoon. So, of course, the public lagoon was the most crowded out of all of them, but I didn't really mind. Now, mind you, it was during the week, during the day, so I don't know what it's like over the weekend. We got there on Sunday, so yeah, I can't really speak to what it's like on at peak times. I'm guessing the public lagoon is probably a bit more crowded, but it was still totally worth it. Um, I went to Sky Lagoon after we got evacuated on the last day, which is, like I mentioned, uh, Reykjavik. And that one was a lot more crowded. Sky Lagoon is more affordable. It doesn't have the silica and algae in the water that Blue Lagoon has. So it doesn't really have the same healing properties. Personally, I didn't think it was as nice or as awe inspiring, even the public section, but it was packed, packed. It was more of like a club atmosphere. And actually, I'll do a video comparing the Sky Lagoon to Blue Lagoon, just for more insight because there are benefits to both. But yeah, Sky Lagoon was definitely more crowded. There were just people on people on people. And everybody had drinks and people were putting their drinks on the rocks and stuff like that. It was kind of wild. I don't know. And I did smell some foul BO, I'll say that. But yeah, too many people at that one, even on a weeknight. So I can't even imagine what it's like on a weekend. Good luck if you're going there on a weekend. So yeah, it could be crowded in some areas. I would recommend booking a private tour. We got to avoid crowds for the most part. The other place that we encountered crowds was at Gullfoss Falls. Yeah, people everywhere, which makes sense. It's a very beautiful waterfall. One of the main attractions. It's one of the main tourist attractions that people go to Iceland to see. So of course, it's crowded. Nice things are typically crowded because people want to be there. So I get it. You just kind of have to get those elbows out. And number five of the things tourists don't like about Iceland, the customer service. Okay. I think it really depends on where you go. As Jules mentioned, you're not going to necessarily get the type of customer service you get in the US, if you're from the US like me. But it really depends on where you are. In a luxury hotel, you're, of course, going to get, top tier service and a concierge and things like that. Um, so I really didn't have a bad experience at the Hilton Nordica after we got evacuated. I will say the customer service wasn't quite as comprehensive. We had to ask for things, multiple times. It took them a minute to upgrade our room. The service just wasn't as good. But we had a good experience at the Sky Lagoon, but the experience at the Blue Lagoon was better. I think when you are paying higher prices, part of what's included in that experience is the service and the degree of care and consideration that you're shown as a traveler. So, it really depends. Now, when we went to downtown Reykjavik just to visit the stores and get some trinkets to take home, some of the customer service was not so great. I had a nice conversation with one shopkeeper, but some of the shopkeeper or the shops that we walked into, um, we weren't greeted. Uh, and these were like souvenir shops, so I'm thinking we probably look like tourists, but yeah, people weren't they just weren't overly friendly like you would be used to experiencing in the States. But it was nothing there was nothing wrong. When people didn't greet us, I was like, do they think we're gonna steal or something like that? But I don't know. No one said anything negative to us either, so I didn't think it was an issue. But maybe you had a different experience in Iceland with the customer service. Please let me know. Also, I'm thinking of a restaurant we visited downtown. It was a nice restaurant though, so I don't know. We had very good service, but they also weren't crowded. Yeah, it wasn't bad. I wouldn't say it was bad overall. It might have just been kind of blah. So that's okay. That's not why I came. So overall, after looking through those five things, I agree with some of them. I really don't have any more to add aside from the rain and clouds where I couldn't see the northern lights. Aside from that, I wouldn't change a thing. I want to go back very soon. Definitely probably next March, to hopefully see the Northern Lights again, or maybe I'll try September. I don't want to go in the winter because, yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to be in anywhere that cold. But yeah, I think it's just a beautiful place. It's definitely worth a visit if you can. And if you have any to add, if I missed anything, if you disagree with my take, please let me know and let me know in the comments and check out my next video. Take care.